everybody. How you doing out there? This is Kevin B., better known as Skeeter, host of Let's Talk About Adoption and Foster Care, and my co-host, my cousin, Sandra Scott, family researcher. We'll get to her in a second, but I want to give a shout out to a local business, Boss Painters. He's located in Newark. He's also on my business page, Live in My Shadows LLC. If you go to Live in My Shadows, it's the business doesn't Live in My Shadows LLC, but the website is liveinmyshadows.org. Go down and drop down menu and hit vendors, and you'll see Boss Painters. It'll take you straight to his page. Boss Painters out of Delaware. If you're looking for, painting, a fixer-upper, basements, anything, he does the whole thing. He's good. He's a good guy. He does great work. Now he's very busy now. Sometimes it takes a while to get to you, but it's worth the while. So let's get into our show. What's up, cuz? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. So let's just give everybody a short summary about me and my cousin. My Sandra was one of the first 3 bloodline that I found when I was searching for my bloodline and my parents. It was 3. It was her, Stephanie, and Susan. And she also happens to be a family researcher, and that's what we're going to talk about today. If I'm not mistaken, she's out of Georgia, and we talk, every now and then, quite frequently lately, because she's a little nervous, but she's really good at what she does. If you saw the little bio, you see that she's really good at what she does, and she gets a lot of joy out of doing that. And I can kind of attest to that a little bit because I help a couple of individuals find some of their loved ones, and it's a great feeling. But she'll just jump into a story, and and without further ado, it's you, cuz. Tell us about yourself and tell us what you do in 09 yards.
Oh, well, I guess you pretty much summed it up. I'm just a passionate person who loves putting families, putting them together. I unfortunately have missed out on family lineage, so I started out just by doing research on myself, and just met a lot of people in the community, and we would help each other, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I won't say that I am a genealogist, but I will say that I just really love searching for people and finding them, and just watching the togetherness. Like, I wish I was a fly on the wall to see you meet your mom.
Oh yeah.
I was just in tears when I saw the pictures. It was just such a joy to see that.
That was I think of that moment pretty much every day. She's passed since then, but that first day, even just on the phone, hearing her voice and hearing her say, "How you doing, son?" for the very first time, it brought tears to my eyes. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know that there's a lot of people that are out there that are still looking, and there's some who hire private investigators, and and they send you in the wrong direction sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I've been through that too. Yeah.
So, when you connect with somebody who have passion, you do have a better chance of finding, the connection, because it's like I get so addicted to the name, and like I want to know so much, like what happened, how did it happen, and 9 times out of 10, it was just, it was a mistake, something that happened that was out of their control. Right. And then, some kind of way, God just finds a way. He just puts it all back together again. And, it is, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's a young man that was born in Saigon, Vietnam, who reached out to me. He was looking for his biological parents. And long story short, he was looking for an African-American male who was a soldier in Vietnam. And, praise God, I was able to find him.
Wow, that must have been something else.
Yes, that was huge.
Now, sometimes it's like finding a a needle in a haystack, correct?
Well, especially when it's, you know, it's a blend, you know, international.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I knew nothing about, you know, researching Vietnam or
Mm-hmm.
researching, you know, like where do you go to find the information? So I did a lot of homework. I
Mm-hmm.
did do a lot of research, and I think the main thing was just building that tree for him. You know, I put a
Mm-hmm.
tree together, and it's important to go through all the little leaves that you get on your tree, to go through it, because you're just gonna find some unexpected things. And that's what happened. I found a son
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of, you know, hidden way down there in the census somewhere. Well, I think because he was too young, because the census only go up to 1940, but
Right.
uh, you know, there are other tools that you can use that helps put your DNA information together, along with, you know, a lot of other things. And it was no question about it, that was his father. And so you see this picture of this black man
Mm-hmm.
and this guy that's half Asian and half black, and they look like twins.
Wow, that's amazing. So when you talk about, because a lot of people would probably ask you, when you say leaves, what did that mean? I know you probably referencing it
So,
to ancestry, right?
yeah, there are several companies where you can take your DNA test, and
Mm-hmm.
ancestry.dna.com seems to be, you know, the more common one.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one side of ancestry. Then you can also build your family tree.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other people who may have your family information as well. So you will get little alerts in their form of a leaf, to let you know, like, hey, there's somebody out there that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that knows this person that you have in a tree. So that's pretty much what you have to do is just try to build a story. So I do a lot of timelines.
Mm-hmm.
I remember doing that with you, and that, you
Right.
know, the investigator, and, you know, we realized that he was in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Whoo, he was
Yeah.
we was up in North Carolina somewhere. but it's some way, believe it or not, it's still a connection, but it was so far out of left field that
Yeah.
I'll be still searching right now if I would have been going that route, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, you know, it's a lot of things that you have to look into. And I get it. There's a lot of people that don't have the patience or the time to do it.
uh-huh.
But for whatever reason, I think that's what God embedded in me.
I'm glad I found you.
So I think I found my niche, which is helping adoptees find their biological families. I'm learning more and more every day about, people, how to contact certain places and things like that. I have my current project that I have been working on is a young lady who was actually stolen as a baby and was put up for adoption. So luckily, she has a lot of documents from when she was born, and it's just, you know, it's just a situation. But you just get to an age where you have your own children. You want to know, you know, the real story about who you are, where you come from, who is your grandparents, your great great grandparents. That stuff is important. I believe it's important.
Oh, yeah, it is. And it makes you feel, for me, it, you know, even though I had a adopted family and everything, but still I had this incompleteness. And when you know where you get your eyes, your hair color, your disposition, your personality, where you come from. I mean, I had no idea that. I never even heard of the owl in Anguilla. And I'm like, oh man, Anguilla. I looked up and oh man, Anguilla sent kids all down the West Indies, and it just makes you feel a little bit more proud of yourself, So yeah. So, but tell us that I know there are some disappointments. True.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there are. And I guess, I mean, it's just kind of hard to talk about those because it is very painful, because when you're doing the research and you're trying to find your biological mother or biological father, you have, a little, you're scared, but you have this anticipation that you're going to be welcomed with open arms.
Right.
And there are just some parents who gave their children up for adoption who just never want to be found.
Right.
Unfortunate. So, but I will say I have more happy gatherings than I have experienced, anything else. So, yes, I'm really excited about that. And I'm proud of you. I'm excited about, how you're just taking on this.
Well, like yourself, I feel as though, in a sense, like you, this is my calling, because, through my, growing up and all that, and being a kid, not knowing who you are and all these different things, I feel as though a lot of people feel the same way. So, I feel as though through whatever I can do, whether it's this podcast, whether it's writing a book, or getting people to tell the story, because everybody has a different story. Whether your parents gave you up for adoption because they couldn't afford you, or whether, they were strung out on drugs. It is a reason, or whether it's just a secret. It was an unborn kid, they didn't want to know because, they were cheated on their spouse or something, so many things. So that's why I try to tell people there's always a possibility that you might not be accepted. That's why I brought that up.
Right.
You might have siblings that don't want to be, don't want to be a part of your life. And so I've had a couple of people to tell me that, they got along with their adoptive family better than they did a biological family, because their biological family just didn't want to accept them. And then you have some people that adopted that had a hard time doing the adoptive process, and even in the foster care system, from rape to being mistreated to whole 9 yards, So it's just a unique situation for adoptees and foster care children,
I think a lot of people don't want it may be a smaller section of people who they're just so filled with guilt.
Right. Yeah.
They just don't want to face something that they did years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's scary. But the awesome part about doing DNA is that you do meet other family members that at least you'll be connected.
Right.
And maybe the parent will come around sooner or later,
Yeah.
So don't give up. Don't be discouraged, or don't feel rejected, because you still have a family. You still have a family.
Still have a family. It's so true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think the entire family will reject you. You have other people that you can connect with, but there's nothing greater than having the love of your mother and father. So I get it. I understand it. Yeah. Of course.
And then sometimes you might, like me with my biological father, I didn't get the chance to meet him because he passed away. Mm-hmm. But the good thing about it is I met a cousin who actually my father raised him, sort of, kind of. And we've been getting kind of close and talking on the phone and stuff. And he'll tell me little tidbits about, my father, when he used to, tell him, hey, listen, keep him out of trouble. And he used to sit down with him. And then also an older cousin, the first cousin, he would tell me all kinds of stories. So I'm getting all these people to tell me all kinds of stories. Right. So I say, oh, so that's why I like to dress up, or that's why I like a lot of, new cars and things like this. And so I got, they tell me different things and some of the habits that I have that he had and stuff. So that's the, that's the, like you said, the connection, even though I never really got a chance to meet him personally. So,
yeah. But it's important, and it feels good. It does give you some sense of completeness. I think, that was one of the things that was taken away from us, which was the history of our family. So much has happened. Nobody want to pass the information down.
Yeah, I know.
But we need to know the truth, the good, the bad, the ugly. We need to know all of it, because it still identifies who we are. It prepares us, helps us to avoid certain things because we knew that it happened way back then. So I just think it's important to put that back into to every household. Everybody should know know their family history. I think it's important.
I took a African ancestry. Did I tell you I took ancestry DNA? No, African ancestry DNA.
No.
And every woman has a chromosome that ties them straight to the motherland. And I was able to trace my tribe from Sierra Leone, the Mindi tribe. The Mindi tribe.
Wow.
And I never watched, you know, the movie Amistad?
The movie, say it again.
Amistad, the movie Amistad?
Yes.
I really don't look at them type of movies or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened, one of the individuals, there's a Mindi page, and I've been talking to people in Africa. They told me to look at that movie. He said that movie is pretty much accurate into what the Mindi people went through. And I looked at the movie and it was the Mindi people. They got their freedom.
Wow.
You know? I mean, it was the first Africans that got their freedom and they sent them back to Africa. It's a long story, but the movie, well, you know, the movie, that was my tribe. And so they've been sending me literature. I've been trying to learn how to speak a little Creole, a little Mindi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day I get to go there in the Freetown and actually put my feet on the ground. So yeah, that was a beautiful feeling in itself, being able to trace my roots all the way back to Africa.
Oh yes. Yeah. And I can't wait till you take a trip out there.
Me either. Oh man. They have a big celebration for you, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I heard that they have something like that in I think it's in Virginia every year.
Oh really?
They change your name and
they gave me a name. I can't remember it now, but they gave me a name, whole 9 yards. They're like, I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be very interesting.
I'm looking forward to being able to do that. I tell you, I missed out on a lot of trips, due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward next year. Maybe we'll be able to still take those trips because I'm the young man who was from Saigon. He actually lives in Paris, and so I definitely want to go out there and explore.
Oh yeah, definitely. Paris. I've been out there when I was in the military. I took a trip out there. So, wrapping it up, what would there be? What one thing you would tell everybody out there about what you do in reference to finding family members and starting a tree?
Well, anybody that's interested in finding a family, I think that it is helpful to just try to gather as much information as you can as far as oral history, because that's the best is the oral history. And then you take that history and then you find documents to back it up. And it does take time, but the information is there and you learn so much. Another big project I'm working on, as a matter of fact, is a young man who's a descendant of the Prince, Abdul, from Prince Among Slaves. That's a huge project. Huge.
Yeah. Wow.
But but it all, just learning the history of of the Prince and how he was still respected even during slavery. But to see this young man, my client, it all makes sense. Like his mannerism, everything that he does, it all fits. Like I can see it,
Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to, really tearing more deep into that and just learning, more, because that's history. It's history.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody want to get in contact with you, how would they get in contact with you? Your website or Facebook?
I do not have a website yet, because you know me, I'm shy. I like doing one-on-one. So I haven't gotten up the nerve to do that yet. But my email is Sandra Scott, SandraScott 816
Okay. All right. Well, folks, what we'll do is we'll put Sandra's contact info, and hopefully one day she'll get a website.
Maybe that's something you can help me with, cousin.
Yeah. I'm not a website designer. I go through this company called web creation, that they'll hook you up. There's a lot of them out there. But yes, you definitely got to get a website along with your, I know you have the Facebook, just get yourself a Facebook page, business page, because you're doing great things out there. And
well, I do have a Facebook page, but it's private because those are the living people. So
we could start something like a Facebook group tied to your page. And then what happens is, when you're doing personal stuff, you just to be dealing with that person, and or you put them in a group. There's different ways you can do it. But we're talking about
that's social media stuff.
Yeah, but that's. If it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't have been able to do this right now.
I know, you're right. You're right. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking me outside of my box.
No problem. Well, we're going to sign off. What I usually say to everybody, and everybody knows this, adoptees and foster care children or people in the foster care system are very strong individuals. Don't let no one tell you that you can't be or do anything you want. You can succeed. Succeed is all up to you. So with that being said, y'all be good, be strong, and we'll see you next week. Truce.
Bye.